Here comes the money. You're now listening to the Gambling with Gold podcast with Jason Gold. Presented by Champions Round.
Let's close out the show with some player props. We're going to do a two-part player prop. I'm going to do the first part with Steph, second part with Justin Henry. So let's knock out a couple of player props that we like right now. I'll start with my first one. I'm going to kind of go against you a little bit here. I'm going to go Richie James under 42.5 receiving yards against the Eagles. He played his lowest snap percentage of the season last week, and I think it continues. I think they want these bigger body receivers, Isaiah Hodgins and Darius Slayton, to be out there along with Daniel Bellinger so that they can get the running game going and so that they can block on the outside for Daniel Jones when he's running the ball. That is not something that Richie James really does. So I think that the Giants are going to be competitive. I think it's going to be a game where you don't really need what Richie James does as much. So I'm going to take the under 42.5 receiving yards for him.
Okay, I like it. Staying in that game, I like any of this guy's numbers. You can take the over on any of them. Dallas Goedert, over 47.5 receiving yards. I like his over 4.5 receptions, and I like him to score a touchdown at plus 205. You just saw TJ Hawkinson 2 different weeks completely eat on this defense. They are not good against the tight end. Goddard could have that kind of breakout game in the playoffs. I can totally see it happening. I could see him scoring 2 touchdowns, but that over 47.5, now that the secondary is a little bit improved from when they last saw this Giants defense, I think that you see Dallas Goedert have a very nice game. So over 47.5 receiving yards at minus 120 for Dallas Goedert. If you feel lucky, a touchdown as well, plus 205. Not even a great number on there. I'm pretty certain he gets in the end zone this weekend.
A little spicy on the anytime touchdown. Obviously, here at Champions Round, we love anything spicy, so love to see that one. All right, my second one on the board is going to be Christian Kirk under 4.5 receptions against the Chiefs. The whole reason for this is his target percentage versus too high. Kansas City runs the most amount of too high coverage in the NFL. They'll pretty much run it for 60 or 70% of the game. Christian Kirk, normal target share on the season when not facing too high is around 28%. Against too high coverage, 18.5%. I don't think that he will be as involved in this game. I think it's more of an Evan Ingram, Zay Jones show in this one. So if you want to do the over props, maybe you look towards those. But Christian Kirk, under 4.5 receptions, that is my second player prop on the board.
Okay. Gosh, I have a few other ones I like. I'll go with, we'll run it back. It was my spicy take that missed by 2 yards. Daniel Jones over 44.5 rushing yards, minus 113. This guy is going to continue. His legs have been disrespected the entire season. I understand he did not have a lot of rushing yards the one game he played against the Eagles, but I think he's been scrambling better. They've been doing a lot more design runs that you did not see in the first half, even at the back end of the season. So I like him to go over this number pretty easily.
All right. I like that too. And it was probably our best bet last weekend. I bet the alt lines all the way up to 80. He didn't quite get to 80 because of the kneel downs at the end. But I think that I hit like 6 of them on the way up. That was the best. I should probably send you some Venmo cash for all those bets. But yeah, that was awesome last week.
It was awesome.
My last one on the board, I'm going to throw out Devin Singletary under 43.5 rushing yards. You would think that you would want a veteran running back in this sort of game. However, if we go back and look last week against the Dolphins, all the early down carries went to James Cook. Very interesting. Devin Singletary got a lot of the receiving action in that game. You would anticipate that maybe versus this Bengals defense, you would want to be a little bit more pass heavy. So maybe Singletary gets the receptions over and receiving yards over. But this early down work on the ground is going to go to James Cook. So I'm going to take the under 43.5 rushing yards for Devin Singletary.
I really like that. Okay, for my last one, I have 2. How spicy do I want to get?
Fucking spicy. Let's send it.
Okay, these are crazy. This is me being fucking crazy, but I don't know why. Just like Jason woke up and he had his dream about the Charger, I woke up and I just knew Joe Mixon has not been involved. It's fine. Buffalo won't be expecting it. But is that the way that they go because they know that they're better run blockers than pass blockers, and they're like, let's use Mixon, he's all reliable. I like him to go over that 48.5 rushing yards, and I think he could be. This is crazy, and it goes against everything we were saying in the beginning of the show. Like, I'm betting him to get 2 touchdowns because I think it's fun. Like, that's a fun bet. Plus 900. I like it. Joe Mixon this weekend, depending on how you want to play it, the safe way for me would be over 48.5. He doesn't go over this number much, but I think this could be a game where they can use him. They can rely on him. You have that banged up O-line. Go with what these guys' strengths is. Give the ball to Joe Mixon. Get him over that 48.5 and into the end zone there.
Fantastic. Way to keep it spicy, Steph. That's what we're here for. I love it. I don't think it's going to happen, but you know what? Fuck it. Why not?
It's fun. It's fun. Other than that, all my bets are going to be interception props. There's going to be a lot of interceptions thrown this weekend.
Perfect. The small special, over 0.5 interceptions for every quarterback this weekend. Just throw it into a parlay and see if everyone throws an interception this weekend. Let's get to – this is our second – I did a segment earlier with Steph giving out our player props. This is the second part of that. So why don't we hop right into it? What are the 2 player props that you were locking in for this weekend?
Well, we talked about this Buffalo game, and I talked about how this defense can really disrupt Joe Burrow, especially since they're missing a few key O-linemen. And this total for Joe Burrow right now is sitting at 275.5. 275.5 passing yards for Joe Burrow. I'm taking the under on that one all day long. The Bills, since they've gotten Jordan Poyer back, have not allowed that at all. Nowhere close to that yardage total. Under 270 in all those games. I don't see Burrow getting to that total. He didn't get it to that total, even close to it against the Ravens last week. Under 220. I don't think he sniffs that total of 275 this game.
I love the bet in general. I think that's a super smart angle. My only concern there would be you and I love Buffalo to smash. If Burrow gets garbage time, we're screwed.
Yeah.
That might be a last drive. We're on the edge of our seat hoping for that under. But I do think that is definitely the right side, and I like the angle on that one. All right, my first one, I'm going to keep it very simple. George Kittle over 47.5 receiving yards in this game. He has been Brock Purdy's number 1 target. Debo's been used all over the place. Brandon Ayuk, he actually used a lot last week against Seattle, and not so much Kittle. I think Kittle only had 3 receptions last week. I love Kittle in this matchup against the Cowboys. 25th in pass over the last 7 weeks, as I mentioned. I think that Kittle has a massive game. 6 for 90 and a tut. That's my prediction for Kittle this week.
I love it because they'll use him too, especially if Micah Parsons does happen to get some pressure in there. They're going to need a safety valve, and George Kittle over the last 4 weeks of the season definitely served as that for the San Francisco 49ers, so I love that.
All right, what's your number 2 player prop for the divisional round?
We're going to stick with some quarterback numbers, and I'm going to stick with Jalen Hurts sitting at 240.5 right now. That number seems way too high for a guy that never threw that against the Giants this season. And so I know that he did throw that, the first game of the season against them. But I think that this team, we talked about it, I mentioned the under for this game. And for me, I really think that he'll have, this Giants defense has been a lot better since week 12. They haven't allowed very many quarterbacks to hit that number. So when I look at Jalen Hurts and his overall impact of this game, I think he's going to have to use his legs, and this team is going to be focused on using the run game to get involved. So we haven't got the true update as if he's still dealing with any injuries when it comes to that shoulder. I think this team leans into the run game and takes a little bit off of Jalen Hurts' shoulder, no pun intended.
I like it. I like the Jalen Hurts under as well. All right, my last player prop for the week. I did 3 unders with Steph. Now I'm just going to hit the overs with you. And this is one that I bet pretty much every playoff game. I'm going back to the well. Patrick Mahomes, over 22.5 rushing yards. The guy loves to scramble in playoff games. Why? Because you need to always have positive plays, move the chains in the playoffs. No one does that better than Mahomes. And he is perhaps one of the most effective scramblers in the NFL. In fact, he was 3rd in EPA per play on the ground scrambling this season behind Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts, the 2 guys that you would expect to be at the top of that leaderboard. In his last 9 playoff games, 29, 69, 19, 33, 5, 14, 29, 53, and 53. That averages out to 33.7 rushing yards per game. 22.5 versus Jacksonville. I think he hits this in the first half. Easy smash over for Mahomes over 22.5 rushing yards.
I was looking at this one. If I had a third, Jason, I'd be on it right there with you. Against the Jags last game, he had 39 yards rushing. And to close out the season, he had over 30 yards rushing in all 3 of his last games, too. So give me Mahomes. I love that. So 22 is way too low. Like you mentioned, he could hit that first half. He could hit that on like the first 2 runs that he has.
I love that you're on board with me. That is an excellent way to close out the show. Welcome to the divisional round. Let's fucking win some money, baby!
Let's get some bread, man. And that's a lot there. The teasers, the player props, the sides, like, these are going to hit. Me and you, Jason, it's been a good team so far.
We've been hot. Hopefully it continues through the Super Bowl. Justin, thank you for joining me. Go download the Champions Round app. Use that code SPICY for $10 off. Come play Spicy Slips with us. If you love NBA gambling, live NBA bets, this is the place for you. It's the best product on the market. We cannot wait for you to try it. Good luck with all your bets this weekend. Let's make some money, baby!